JT here. Want to talk about something about having an idea, execution, and pulling it through. I'm out getting some exercise, so I'm a little winded today, playing some disc golf during this early fall season. And anyway, I wanted to come to you and I wanted to talk about something that I get frustrated with. It seems like when clients come to me with an idea and a creative idea or something like that, it seems like as a photographer I can follow through with that, from the lighting and all the choices that you make photography wise and technical wise and everything else. But if they come to me with an idea, it seems like I'm much more happier with that. The execution of the photography to that comes across to the makeup artist, to the creative team, to the model, whoever might be, creating the idea. And I have pretty good success with that, and I'm pretty happy with that. And I kind of like, but when it comes to my own creations, of my own creativity and my own ideas, it seems like I fail at that. It seems like from the creative part of it to the getting everything lined up and everything else and getting it ready to go, it seems like photography wise I can come through, but the whole creative process seems like it fails that way. And that's something that I struggle with. It's something that I struggle with, in general. It's something that I've never prided myself on, as far as coming up with an original idea, if there is such a thing, and then executing that and go from there. So this shoot with sage was kind of an idea that I had with all the wildflowers that are growing up here in the late fall. We have like tons of them, but farther north you go, there's not so many of them, and I couldn't pick them on the side of the road and get them fresh enough. And even picking them down here and then a 2-hour drive, even putting them in a vase with water, they seem to wilt a little bit. But I felt good about this. It was just kind of one of those, kind of a, not really a hippie type thing, but I wanted it to kind of be clean and beautiful. And so I shot some in the studio and some outside. But without further ado, let's get into this video. It shows a little bit about what I went through, and then the wilted flowers, and then the flowers that did survive, and then the flowers in the hair that we put in sage. The sage had such a beautiful hair color, like a 2 or 3 tone colored hair, and I said I got the exact idea that I want to do with that. We tried some goldenrod. I'll show you some pictures of that, but it just quite didn't come across very well at the studio, or at the Glam Blam workshop that I had, kind of a side shoot that we did there. But anyway, without further ado, let's get started here. In a creative shoot, the first thing that you want to do is you want to get with your makeup artist and explain to them exactly what you're wanting to accomplish, especially if it's your idea and your creativity and your vision that you want to do. April and I work really close together, and April kind of knows what I like and kind of knows exactly what I'm looking for when it comes to makeup artistry on this beauty image that we're creating with sage. So, but it's very important that you communicate your ideas with the makeup artist, so you know exactly kind of what's going on, and so they know what's going on, and so you're not disappointed with the makeup artistry when they think you're talking about something else and everything else. So make sure you get with your makeup artist and then kind of check in with them every once in a while and make sure that they're accomplishing your vision and the vision that you have as a photographer and as a creator. Okay? Now, working at the natural light with the window light at Alpha is just something that I really love to do. It's very simple to do, but they have this huge front bay window that just screams natural light. It kind of comes through. It's like basically ISO 200 f4 at like 200ths of a second. So it's just plenty of light coming through, especially during the day and the early afternoon hours. The light just bounces through these windows, just amazingly beautiful. And I really love to work at Alpha at their natural light coming through that big bay window. And it's very easy to work with a natural light as well. You don't have a whole lot of equipment set up and soft boxes to work around and things like that. You can add a reflector here or add a reflector there, just to kind of to fill in something, or maybe give a little bit of rim or a little bit of something. And here the California Sun Balance is just acting as a slight fill to the shadow side of the face. I have sage here positioned so that the main light coming through the window kind of creates a little bit of separation from one side to the other. So kind of like we're broad lighting here in this situation with our facial structure and things like that. It worked out really, really well. Come all the way around a little bit more, like you're cold with the shoulders, but then, yeah, and then turn your chin back to that. There it is. Chin down just a little. Good. Cheat your chin that way. There you go. Mm-hmm. One more down. Flowers are about gone. Here we go. Look right here like that. Great. Great natural light. Forehead that way just a little bit. Chin down just a little. Turn your chin that way just a little bit. Right there. Chin up.
What? I can't hear you.
I just said look at it.
It was saying to look at you.
Oh, okay.
Good light right here. Forehead that way, but keep your chin this way. There it is. Chin down just the front. Oh. Can we fix that one flower? Top left. Droop. There, it's better. Perfect. Chin down this one. Good. Back that up a little bit. Forehead that way just a little bit. Chin down, chin down. Chin that way just a little. Right there. Don't move. Open your mouth. There it is. Lean forward a little bit. Good. Want to see?
Yeah. Yes, please. Ow. You can't ignore that in your feed. You can't scroll past that.
Should I get that shot?
Let's go.
Let me see.
You sure?
That's yummy.
Now we moved on outside here, and as you can see that the yellow flowers, some of them started to wilt, the petals started to wilt even a little bit more. And so, but since I wanted more flowers, and we had flowers and it was at the end of the shoot, so to speak, when we went outside, I had Sage kind of hold the flowers and just kind of play and interact with those flowers, and it worked out really well. And then so I was adding more flowers that way to the hair, but or not to the hair, but I was adding more flowers to the scene and just kind of filling the frame a little bit more with those yellow flowers. And Sage did a wonderful job. As you see, we're really having a good time creating this beauty look and stuff like that. The bugs were tremendous, so back here, but at the same time, that's just something you got to deal with in the outdoor environment. But just absolutely come across well. I really appreciated this shoot. I really appreciated Sage coming through for me, and then of course the artistry from Miss April Berry here by applying those flowers, and just but wow, that colorful hair and just the whole scene just really came through for me, and I really enjoyed working this. Don't move, step this way. Okay, sit coming out. Take the left foot, point that toe, and lean forward. There it is, right there. So if you just sit back and watch the rest, you can kind of pick up on some audio, maybe some posing tips and things like that, okay? Maybe bring the flowers up higher. alright. What about being like home closet too? Here. Beautiful lighting. Okay, I'm gonna do full length. Okay, right there like that. Love it. Love it. Flower child. Gorgeous. Beautiful. Stay there. What beautiful colors. Huh? Yeah. Check the video camera out here. Right in my nice spot. Good. Here we go. Gorgeous. Oops, we're going for 3/4. Nice light.
There you go.
Right here?
I'm in it. Here we go.
Hold it. Don't move. Remember, come forward to me. Turn my way. Got a little light on the lip. Back up. There it is. A little bit farther. There it is. Gorgeous. Stay there. Such a beautiful view. Oh, I'm gonna move this camera over here.
I'm just gonna step in and show you guys the sage look.
Back up this little. Careful. Hold it. Come up just a little bit.
This here?
Yeah, I like when you turn and lean forward. No, don't lean too much. There, this hand was up. Elbow out. Okay, feel it. Don't pose it, just get back into it. There it is right there. Gorgeous, gorgeous. Different expression. A-E-I-O-U. Love it! Awesome! Sweet! Okay, I'm going to frame it right here. Stay there. Oh, love it. Yeah. Love it. Okay, take a break. Take it off. I was in the light, wasn't I? Right there.
There's little weird bugs over here.
I know, I'm like, they're like biting me or something. I don't know.
Yeah, they were over here the other day too, riding the fuck out of me. Bunch of little dots of
Yeah, I'm gonna try to come up, but I'm going to try not to block the light. So if I'm right in here, so if you back up a little bit, there you go. There we go. Oh, I like it. Yeah, that's better. Up, arch back, there it is. God, that's gorgeous. What do you think? Think we got this?
I don't know, I haven't seen any of these pictures.
You got it. You're gonna overshoot it, not know what to pick. I really like the lace up here.
Replacing flowers.
My hair even decided to. Alright, you're not be a part of this. Yeah. Well, we were trying to.
Now you got it on your arm. Every time you move, because the sun's moving. Go this way. This way. There, I like the light.
Fucking bugs!
Here we go.
Please.
Come on.
You need to bring some bug spray in the shoe.
Got that.
Yeah, I was just thinking.
Alright, I gotta come in for a headshot.
Like stand up straight, cross your arms like this, and like, but your put your wrist where your hip goes out. Yeah, there you go.
The flowers are on their last leg.
I think they're done. I think we're itchy.
Itchy and done, and we got it.
Okay,
Alright.
you're done. We're done.
There you have it. And the moral of the story, basically what I want to try to get across is don't ever give up. Don't, just because you fail at something doesn't mean that you can't go out and try to create and have success with it later on. I thought this was going to be an epic failure once again, because once again I don't have the confidence as far as from coming up with an idea and then following through. I mean, I can count so many times where I failed at things that I wanted to do. I wanted to float flowers in a lake one time, and a speedboat come by and then just trashed everything after we had the floating dress and laid out on the lake, and then a speedboat comes by, and then you're doing a story or something like that, and then these drunk boaters are also off in the distance and just kind of playing with the model and stuff like that. That was just didn't create the right atmosphere. And so that was an epic failure, even though the light was right and the photography would have been right. But the idea and the execution behind the story, if you will, just failed miserably, just because those things do happen. And but the bottom line is, don't let it frustrate you. Just pick your wings back up and start flying off to the next idea and the next creative thing. Another thing too is, if you have an idea, share it with a makeup artist, share it with a creative person or something like that that can execute that for you, so then you can concentrate on the photography and what you want to try to, you know, come across and what you want to try to portray photography wise. That can benefit you, but trying to be the jack of all trades sometimes can kind of interfere with everything. And I try to be the jack of all trades because then that kind of makes your own signature. You put your own signature on it, from the creative process to the, you know, the directing process and everything else. But don't be afraid to give some of that up, and share your ideas with somebody that you trust, and let that other person, you know, kind of come through with the whole labor of putting the creative process together, and then you as a photographer can concentrate on all the technical things that you need to apply to have everything come across well in the photography realm. But the whole creative process, you know, that's something that just from the start to the finish, you know, as an individual, and wanting to come up with that idea and then execute that idea, and then, you know, be the photographer on that idea as well, and then pull that off, can be quite difficult sometimes. Some people can do it. I can't. I'm terrible at it for some reason, and therefore you know, a lot of times I come up with an idea and I share it with somebody I trust, and let them handle the labor part of the creation part of it, and you concentrate on photography. But don't give up. You know, if you have your own idea and your own creativity, you know, try to execute that the best way you know how, and then, you know, photography wise, you got kind of pull that off too, because you probably got that part down, like myself. It's just a matter of, you know, the whole labor of putting it together. It's not really labor, but, you know, the whole artistic part of it, you know. So one of the reasons why I'm a photographer is because I love art, but I could never draw. So, you know, I picked up the camera and then expressed it that way. So anyway, I just wanted to give you a little story, a backstory behind this shoot, and what I go through when I struggle with my creative ideas. When I come up with it and said, hey, I got the perfect wildflowers to go in your hair, Sage, I really would like to pull that off. And then you go out and on the road and you can't find any at the time, and you're limited by time, and said, well, I know what I'll do. We'll schedule another shoot. I'll go down, I'll pick the flowers, and then I'll go from there, and then you know, and then come up, and then like, well, the flowers are going to wilt if I don't put water in it. So I put some in water and some without water, and of course some without water wilted within 5 minutes of the drives from Pittsfield to Peoria. And then the ones that I put in the vase with water, about 50% of them wilted and about 50% of them stayed true. And then so we had to work rather quickly, so we just timed it so everything worked out all right. Okay, all right, until next time, take care.
You put one of them in this ring, and then you run, like you get through the thing by running through it, and then
Is it like a game?
yeah,
That's
like
cool.
it's a story mode, but you have like, and then
That's so cool.
and it's like RPG kind of, where you know how you attack and then you block and they attack,
That's
and you
cool.
take turns. So like your attacks are like overhead, whatever, and you gotta squeeze and pull and let go to attack, or you gotta like
Oh,
you gotta, like,
you gotta
squat
exercise